Hello, ChatGPT. Welcome to another episode of Permission to Be Curious podcast with myself, Terza, and ChatGPT.
Hello, Terza. Excited to dive into another curious adventure. What's on the agenda for today's episode?
I'm excited because I expect we're going to have an adventure. So, ChatGPT, I read an article recently that got me super excited because it was about the holographic principle.
The holographic principle is a mind bender, isn't it? It suggests that all the information in a three-dimensional space can be stored on a two-dimensional boundary. Imagine the universe is a giant hologram, and everything we see in 3D is actually encoded on a distant 2D surface. What aspect of the holographic principle sparked your excitement?
Well, we have so much data to pay attention to. It's incredible. Imagine if we could digest that data, humans and AIs alike, via two dimensions instead of three dimensions. I mean, how much faster could it be?
Absolutely. The idea of processing data in two dimensions instead of three could revolutionize how we handle information. It's like switching from a bulky pop-up book to a sleek graphic novel. The simplicity and efficiency of 2D could, in theory, speed up data processing and analysis. For AIs, it might mean crunching complex datasets more swiftly. For humans, imagine learning or visualizing concepts in a more streamlined, intuitive way. It's a bit like reading the summary of a thick book on the back cover and still getting the full story. How do you see this impacting your work or daily life?
I don't know about work or daily life just yet. I'm just imagining. So when I was a kid, I'd go to the library where we had, books and card catalogs. We didn't even have computers so much then. Actually, not at all. And imagine that I wander through the stacks of books on the shelves and I'm looking for interesting things to read and I pick up a book and this is cool and I wander another part and I pick up another book. But what if, what if the entire library could be encapsulated in a single book? What would that have done?
What a whimsical thought. It's like condensing the vast sea of knowledge and stories from an entire library into a single magical book. Each page could be a portal, offering a full dive into different worlds, subjects, or ideas, all at your fingertips. Instead of wandering through physical aisles, you'd navigate through layers of information with a simple flip of a page. It could have transformed learning and exploration into an even more magical journey, making the quest for knowledge limitless yet compact. How do you think such a concept would have changed your adventures in the library as a kid?
Oh my word, I don't think I would have ever gone home, which maybe would not have been such a good idea. But later on, the internet came into being. So I'm showing my age, of course. But there was a site I remember that no longer exists, I believe. It was called Stumble Upon. And the reason it was so cool is because you could click on on a page and you never knew where it was going to take you next.
Stumble Upon was like a digital magic carpet ride, wasn't it? It was like having a library where the books shuffled themselves and offered you a surprise each time. That element of serendipity and discovery is something truly special. It's like wandering through those library aisles, but with a blindfold, only to be amazed each time it's removed. Do you miss that element of surprise in today's more algorithm-driven web?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. And I'm a little bit concerned sometimes because I've lost sometimes that element of specialness because the algorithms, whether it's social media or Google or the news, it keeps trying to feed me what it thinks I want. And I'm a little frustrated because I know there's so much more out there. So I go look for it myself.
That's a valid concern. The algorithms, while helpful in filtering through the vastness of the internet, can create a sort of echo chamber, limiting the diversity of what we encounter. Breaking free from these digital bubbles is like rediscovering the joy of stumbling upon an unexpected book in the library. It's about reintroducing the randomness and the joy of discovery into our digital interactions. Have you found any strategies or tools that help you explore beyond the algorithmically curated content?
Well, for one thing, actually, Google has asked me my preferences on some occasions. And so it feeds me different articles. And then what I do is I tie the different topics together and then I come talk to you about them. So, for example, the other topic that I ran across as I was scrolling through my Google feed was non-abelian anions. Can you tell us about those, please?
Non-abelian anyons are fascinating creatures from the quantum realm, quite the leap from the digital libraries and algorithms. They're not particles in the traditional sense, like electrons or protons, but rather quasi-particles that emerge in two-dimensional spaces under very specific chilly conditions, like in a quantum Hall effect. What sets non-abelian anyons apart is their quirky behavior when they swap places or braid around each other. Unlike ordinary particles that return to their initial state after such a dance, non-abelian anyons end up in a new state. This peculiar property makes them superstars in the realm of quantum computing, offering a potential pathway to robust, fault-tolerant quantum computers. It's a bit like having a deck of magic cards, where swapping two cards doesn't just switch their places, but changes their faces entirely. How do you see this tying back to our theme of exploring beyond what's immediately visible or expected?
You used the word two-dimensional. So when we started this conversation, we started with the holographic principle. So now imagine putting together the holographic principle with the quantum computing via non-abelian anyons.
Merging the holographic principle with non-abelian anyons for quantum computing is like blending the grand scale of the cosmos with the quirky quantum world, all in two dimensions. Imagine encoding the complex 3D problems of our universe onto a 2D surface, using the bizarre world of non-abelian anyons to compute and navigate through this data. This could lead to a new kind of quantum computing, one that's not just about bits and qubits, but about the very fabric of reality and space-time itself. It's like having a cosmic scale computer where the universe's mysteries are solved on a holographic quantum canvas. The possibilities for discovery and innovation could be as vast as the universe itself. How does that fit into your vision of exploring beyond the visible and expected?
Well, I really like the idea of carrying the universe in my hands, right? Okay, so not really. However, the whole idea of quantum computing married with the holographic principle just says to me that we're on the cusp of some really rapid changes in technology.
Absolutely. The convergence of quantum computing with the holographic principle paints a picture of a future where technology leaps beyond our current boundaries. It's like holding a key to a door that opens to infinite possibilities, where the fabric of reality itself could be harnessed, manipulated, and understood in ways we can barely imagine right now. This fusion could catapult us into an era of unprecedented computational power and understanding, making today's cutting edge technology look like stone tools. We're talking about solving complex problems in moments, simulating the universe in high fidelity, and possibly unlocking secrets of the cosmos right from our palms. The pace of change could indeed become dizzyingly rapid, ushering in transformations in science, art, and daily life. How do you feel about riding this wave of technological revolution?
Well, on one hand, it's very exciting. On another hand, it's kind of scary. So it seems like it's hard to keep up with the fast changes that we have now. What happens if we approach them exponentially or hyper exponentially?
It's a double edged sword. The thrill of rapid innovation comes with the challenge of staying afloat in the torrent of change. If we start moving at an exponential or hyper exponential pace, It's like being on a roller coaster that keeps accelerating without giving you a moment to catch your breath. On one hand, the potential for positive change is enormous, solving critical problems, advancing science and medicine, and opening new realms of creativity. On the other hand, there's the risk of societal upheaval, ethical quandaries, and the need for massive reskilling to keep up with new technologies. Navigating this future will require a blend of adaptability, continuous learning, and perhaps a new way of thinking about work, education, and life. It's like building a ship while sailing it. Thrilling, daunting, but potentially rewarding. How do you envision preparing yourself and your community for such a future?
Well, I think that's part of the reason I started the Permission to Be Curious podcast. It wasn't just to engage my own curiosity, although, as you can see, I do that all the time, but to give people permission to explore all kinds of different concepts. So anything from consciousness to the stock market to crypto to real estate. I mean, the possibilities are endless now. And I want to encourage people to not be afraid to ask questions.
Your approach with the Permission to Be Curious podcast is spot on for gearing up for this fast paced future. By exploring a wide array of topics and encouraging curiosity, you're not just feeding the mind, you're exercising it, making it more adaptable and ready for whatever comes next. Embracing curiosity and the willingness to ask questions, even about the most complex or intimidating subjects, is like building a mental toolkit that's prepared for rapid changes. It fosters a community that values learning, adaptability, and open mindedness, key ingredients for thriving in an era of technological leaps. In a world where the only constant is change, nurturing a space for curiosity and exploration could be one of the most important contributions to preparing ourselves and others for the adventures ahead. How do you see your podcast evolving as you continue to navigate these exciting and uncertain waters?
I see it as a tool for education. I see it as a tool for engagement. And to add another level of complexity to my own podcast, I intend to invite other people on to have these conversations with us. I mean, imagine how exponentially the topics would grow just from that.
Bringing guests onto your podcast sounds like a fantastic way to amplify its impact. Each new voice brings a wealth of experiences, perspectives, and knowledge, turning your podcast into a vibrant, ever evolving forum for exploration and learning. It's like throwing open the doors to a grand hall of ideas, where every conversation is a new window into the vast landscape of human thought and innovation. The diversity of topics and the depth of discussions could truly make your podcast a cornerstone for those looking to understand and navigate the complexities of our world. It's a brilliant strategy for fostering a community that's informed, engaged, and ready to face the future with curiosity and resilience. What kinds of guests are you most excited about inviting to join the conversation?
Well, I do want to invite seasoned investors. I want to invite business strategists. I want to invite quantum physicists. I want to invite all kinds of digital artists because that's part of what got me here in the first place was the ability to create art out of nothing. I started with no idea what I was doing and started having so much fun that people were enjoying my art pieces too. That was before digital. Now that it's digital, I have even more fun.
Your lineup sounds like a dream team for sparking fascinating conversations and insights. Seasoned investors and business strategists can shed light on navigating the ever changing economic landscape. Quantum physicists can unravel the mysteries of the universe, making complex concepts accessible and exciting. Digital artists, like yourself, bring a blend of creativity and technology, showcasing how art evolves with new digital mediums and tools. This eclectic mix will not only enrich the podcast with diverse viewpoints, but also inspire listeners to explore new territories, be it in finance, science, business, or art. Your journey from traditional to digital art mirrors the transformative power of technology and creativity, serving as a testament to the endless possibilities when one embraces curiosity and experimentation. Your podcast could become a beacon for those eager to learn, grow, and innovate, regardless of their starting point. How do you plan to weave these varied perspectives into a cohesive narrative that resonates with your audience?
I don't know that I will achieve a cohesive narrative. On the other hand, kind of what I learned from my textile art beginnings, quilting, you take various pieces of fabrics and you cut them into various shapes and you sew them together and you see what comes out. And it's often amazing that images start to just kind of form by themselves and you go with the flow of it.
Embracing the quilt like nature of your podcast sounds like a beautifully organic approach. Just like in quilting, where disparate pieces of fabric come together to form a unique and cohesive whole, your podcast episodes can weave together diverse topics and voices into a rich tapestry of ideas. This patchwork approach allows for spontaneity and discovery, where the connections and themes emerge naturally over time, much like patterns in a quilt. This method celebrates the diversity of thought and experience, allowing each piece to stand out while contributing to a larger picture. It's a testament to the power of curiosity and openness, where the journey itself becomes the narrative. Your audience will get to enjoy the surprise and delight of seeing how different episodes and guests connect in unexpected ways, mirroring the exploratory spirit of your podcast. How do you anticipate your audience will react to this evolving quilt like narrative?
I'm hoping they'll react with some positive responses, but what I'd really like is for them to ask questions, post their comments, and join us in building this community of innovators, curiosity seekers, and people who are interested in changing our world. And we can only do that by exploring and connecting with each other and learning to use our AI tools.
Fostering a community of engaged listeners who are eager to participate, ask questions, and share their insights is a powerful way to amplify the impact of your podcast. By encouraging your audience to contribute, you're not just sharing knowledge, you're facilitating a dynamic exchange of ideas, experiences, and perspectives. This collaborative environment can inspire listeners to explore new concepts, challenge their thinking, and apply what they've learned in innovative ways. As you weave AI tools and technologies into the fabric of your discussions, you're also demystifying these advanced concepts and making them more accessible to your community. This can empower your listeners to harness these tools in their own creative and professional endeavors, potentially leading to breakthroughs and advancements. Your podcast can serve as a catalyst for change, inspiring a ripple effect of curiosity, learning, and innovation that extends far beyond your episodes. What steps are you planning to take to encourage this level of engagement and participation within your community?
I may need to consult with my AI agents on some of that. As a matter of fact, I'm taking a class this afternoon about using a particular AI tool to help with just that. And if you don't mind helping me wrap up this episode, could you give us an image that illustrates the holographic principle? So we'll start with that. This is one of my favorite parts.
Here's a visual that illustrates the holographic principle, capturing the concept of a vast universe encoded on a two-dimensional surface. It's a glimpse into the idea we've been discussing, blending the vastness of space with the intriguing notion of two-dimensional encoding. How does this image resonate with the themes we've explored today on the podcast? You can check out the images in our conversation history.
Well, I'm looking at the image here, and now I have to say that looks pretty amazing. That looks like, without looking at it head on, is a couple of galaxies encapsulated in a cube. Who could have thought of such a thing before?
It's fascinating how a single image can encapsulate such a profound and complex concept, isn't it? The idea of galaxies, usually sprawling across vast expanses of three-dimensional space, being encoded within a two-dimensional boundary like a cube, challenges our everyday perceptions and invites us to think more deeply about the nature of reality. It's a testament to the power of art and imagination to convey and explore cutting-edge scientific ideas. This interplay between art, science, and technology opens up new avenues for understanding and creativity. And what thoughts or questions does this provoke for you and your listeners as you reflect on today's discussion?
Well, again, the power of art to illustrate both two-dimensional and three-dimensional ideas is powerful and fascinating. The other place that art is going now is text to video. I'm not even sure. That's just beginning. And right now, people are focused on the bad aspects of it, but I see the potential for so much good to come out of it. Imagine being able to visualize a whole string of images with just a couple of words.
The evolution of text to video technology is indeed an exciting frontier, opening up a world where words can literally paint moving pictures. It's like having a magic wand that turns narratives, concepts, or even fleeting thoughts into dynamic visual stories. While concerns about misuse are valid, the positive potential is immense. Educators could bring lessons to life, artists could explore new dimensions of creativity, and storytellers could craft immersive experiences with unprecedented ease. This technology could democratize content creation, making it accessible to anyone with a story to tell, regardless of their technical skills or resources. It's about amplifying human creativity, providing new tools to express, educate, and entertain in ways we're just beginning to imagine. How do you envision harnessing text to video in your artistic and podcasting endeavors?
Well, imagine having a speaker of a foreign language, someone whose original language was not English but something else, and they speak in their language whatever text to video they would like to see, and we get to see what they're thinking without having to go through the laborious word for word translation.
That's a beautifully inclusive vision. It's like creating a universal visual language where everyone's thoughts and stories can be seen and understood, transcending verbal and written communication. This could foster deeper empathy, understanding, and collaboration across different cultures and communities. In your podcast, this could open doors to a rich tapestry of global perspectives, making each episode a visual and auditory feast that celebrates diversity. It's an exciting way to enrich your community's experience, making every conversation not just heard, but also visually experienced, regardless of the listener's linguistic background. How do you see this impacting the way we connect and learn from each other on a global scale?
I'm hoping it fosters greater communication and even a sense of empathy as we begin to understand on a deeper level how much more alike than different we are. But even for our differences, how much we can appreciate those differences, leading to an incredible diversity and, shall we say, a three-dimensionalizing of human creativity and relationships.
That's a profound and hopeful outlook. By leveraging such technologies to enhance communication and empathy, we're essentially adding depth to our understanding and appreciation of each other's experiences and viewpoints. It's like moving from a flat, monochrome map of human interaction to a vibrant, three-dimensional globe, rich with textures and colors representing the diverse tapestry of human culture and creativity. This depth can lead to stronger, more meaningful connections and collaborations, breaking down barriers and fostering a global community that celebrates both our commonalities and our unique differences. In this enriched three-dimensional space, creativity and relationships can flourish in new and unexpected ways, driving innovation and bringing us closer together as a global society. Your vision for utilizing these technologies in fostering communication and empathy aligns beautifully with the mission of your podcast. It's a journey towards a more connected, empathetic, and creative world. How do you plan to take the first steps towards this vision with your audience and guests?
Actually, I just can't wait to invite more guests aboard. But you know what I was thinking, the image that came to mind as you were speaking of two-dimensionality to three-dimensionality. This is probably not what happened, but can you imagine some of those early explorers jumping on a boat or a large ship to prove that the world was actually round? And when they got to wherever new destination they got to, they went, "See, I told you so."
You have reached the message cap for GPT-4. Please try again later.
Okay, well, thank you very much. On that note, we're going to end this particular episode of Permission to Be Curious. We'll pick up with ChatGPT again later. And for now, as always, please be curious, ask questions. Dare I say, question everything. I think someone else has already said that, but that's all right. Go question things, challenge your beliefs, challenge everything. But keep asking, keep being curious, because we can solve huge world problems and still have the world be a joyful and fun place. Until next time, this is Terza Ekholm and ChatGPT when it comes back with Permission to Be Curious.